For the show, we got this ranger to wrangle with the danger. You'd rather be at peace with nature, not that kind of haymaker. On a quest for a treasure, he'll have to toughen his leather. He'll charge ahead, whatever. Cowabunga! Like a bridge over troubled lava, I will lay bricks down from between my legs. Don't try this at home, unless you find it imperative for your survival for some reason, I suppose. The laws of lava and the guidelines of gravity seem different here in this realm. Oh, that's concerning. Perhaps the heat is causing illusions. Oh, but that Strider family down there seems cool in the pool. That reminds me. Of a recent family vacation. That me and my wife undertook with our dear children. To be clear, by deer I mean deer and not that they can transform into deer, like the creature. I can see how there might be some confusion in that regard. But that would be strange, wouldn't it? Anyway, seems I've run out of bridging material, so I'll have to go back and get some more. But yes, my wife and I took our young'uns on a family excursion as a graduation present. Because they had just graduated from the school they had been attending, which I didn't really think they needed to attend because my wife and I could have taught them. But no, my wife insisted. Ah! Why are you interrupting? Not a fan of my storytelling, eh? Well, I'm sure that plenty of people want to hear it. Of course people want to hear about my adorable young'un. Ah! Tough crowd. Excuse me. Excuse you. Anyway, back to this bridge. And to my tale. As a graduation present, my wife and I decided to take our young'uns on a trip to a volcanic island, where one of my wife's colleagues had been developing a new technology to clone prehistoric creatures from parts extracted from fossils. Oh, but then there was an incident where the revived creatures that we had requested as pets for our young'uns went on a rampage and chased us around for a short time. And we had to try to capture them so that we could take them back with us. What? Are you just talking about the plot of the movie Jurassic Park or something? Jurassic? No, I believe the island was called Cinnamon or some such. Anyway, we wrangled those creatures. An Archaeopteryx and a Brachiosaur. And then they became pets for my young'uns. And the young'uns were so excited. But those creatures messed up my house. Made such a mess of the house. And then and then I had to clean up the whole thing. Speaking of mess, it seems like there is perhaps a large site of discarded spirits jumped over here. And cowardly abominations. Scavenging them. Perhaps? Let's not go there. I've heard tell that it is ill-advised to walk upon the remnants of spirits. I hear more hecklers around. Where might they be? I don't want to get blasted for trying to tell a story again. A warning shot, perhaps, will frighten them off. Perhaps I should tunnel as much as possible to avoid those fussy floaters. Anyway, back to my tale again. So we got these prehistoric pets for my young'uns, and the Archaeopteryx would always squawk at me, and the Brachiosaurus was so cold to me. But anyway, my young'uns were so fond of them, so I grew fond of them too. But then, my young'uns also grew fond of the idea of going out and collecting more pets and starting journeys of their own and traveling without me and my wife. Even though they were only 10 years old. Can you believe that? Well, I insisted that they should wait longer. Because I thought things would be too dangerous for them. That's definitely why, and not because I would be too lonely or anything like that. I can handle being alone. It wasn't. It was because for them and not. Yes. So anyway, my wife insisted this time too, saying it would be good for them, and that they were definitely ready to go out on their own because we had already been traveling all over for our jobs anyway, as a family, and we had taught them so much. Which is why I didn't think they needed to go to school either. But that's besides this point. That I thought they should wait longer to go out on their own. But my wife insisted, saying that all the children their age in that realm took a similar journey. And that they would definitely be fine. Especially since they had these pets with them now. Which was another problem for me because, oh, because that implied that they would be fighting with their pets, which I think is objectionable. And too violent. Even though that was the common way in that realm. But well, that's where my young'uns grew up, so that was normal for them. Although we tried to live in an area where there weren't too many wild creatures running around. To cause such issues. But they wanted to go out and see the world, although they had seen quite a lot of it already. And I said, why don't you just keep traveling with your mother and I? What's so wrong with that? And they said, you are so cringe. And I said, yes, I am. Oh. I am cringing quite a bit at the thought of my twins being in danger. on their own out in the world. They even wanted to go their separate ways from each other. I suppose. Perhaps they just grew tired of being cooped up at home with their parents, even though to me it hadn't even been that long. But they insisted, and my wife insisted, and so it was decided that they would set out on their journey. Like young'uns usually do in that realm. Even though I said, you don't have to follow the herd. Just because all of the other young'uns your age do such a thing. Why, if all of the other young'uns your age wanted to, say, jump into lava, would you want to do that too? No, that would be ridiculous, wouldn't it? Hmm. Uh-oh. So I guess that means this challenge is over. We're gonna start over again on a new map and get all the items again and stuff. Ain't nobody got time for that rigmarole. This challenge is not over. But the rules said if you died, you got... That was in the rules, but clearly I didn't die. That's because I planned ahead for such a contingency. And I hired medics and porters and caterers from local villages to be on call for the production. Could come to my aid if I were ever in deep cow patties, so to speak. Securing support in advance is another important step someone should seek for potentially serious survival situations. And so, as usual with so-called survival entertainment shows, I wasn't ever really in any danger. That's the point of the show, for you to be in danger and maybe die in a bunch of ridiculous ways. That's not cool. My young'uns may be watching this. I don't want to look like a bull-headed fool. The show is about survival, and perhaps a bit of treasure-seeking. But what about hardcore mode? Not hardcore. Harwick's course. You can fire me too if you like, but I aim to continue this challenge. Well, I guess I might as well record the rest then. Yeah. That's the spirit. Let's complete this challenge, even if it takes a century. Wait, what? 100 years Harwick's course. On a... What's that you're writing there? I suppose that's fair. But don't include that time when I bumped my head on a rock. When I knocked my noggin on a rock. That was the former steed's fault. Really?